Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's Christine Ludwig here from Christine's Stamping Spot, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in St. Albert, Alberta. And thank you for joining me this morning. Wasn't able to come last week. I think I've mentioned on some of my posts, our house has been a construction zone for the last probably week and a half, but we're almost there. We had our old Poly B water lines replaced, and if any of you are unfamiliar with Poly B, they were the type of, hello Kathleen, they were the type of water lines that were put into, new built homes back in the late 80s, early 90s, and then a few years later, people were starting to have issues with them breaking down and having flooding and the pipe, the lines bursting and all of that kind of things. So there were some major lawsuits. And anyways, the company is now out of business, but we have known about this for a while and thought, you know what, I think we better just bite the bullet and do it. So yeah, it was really quite a process. The plumbers came out and they were a team of 4 and they were very efficient, but very, very physical job. I think we had about 16 holes put in our ceilings and walls between, the levels of our house. And now the drywaller has been here trying to fix all those holes and patch them up. And, today he's just doing a second coat of mud and stuff. And then I think probably Monday the final painting and things will start. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and then the cleanup will begin. So not as much dust as I thought, but definitely they are going to clean as best they can their parts, but there's always more, right? So how are you all? How's your week been? Please leave a note in the comments. Let me know where you might be tuning in from. It's always nice to see who might be watching. And if you're watching the replay, that's great too. Lovely to have you tune in. So today I thought we would make a vintage card. You might have seen this on some of the different Facebook sites, this card. It was made by a demo in the States. Tami Hewlett is her name. She is an amazing, amazing artist. She's a demonstrator in California, and I believe she was on the Stampin' Up! Artisan design team. Not sure if she still is, but I know she was, and she does just beautiful, beautiful work. So we are going to try to recreate what she did, and I'll just flip my camera around and show you what we are going to attempt to do today. So close your eyes for just a second. Hi, Marlene. 1 second. I'm just going to flip my camera. And hopefully you'll be able to see what we are doing today. Let me just lower this a little bit. Okay, hopefully you can all see that work surface. All right, so this is the card that we are going to attempt to make. It is, her sample was beautiful. This is one that I tried recreating with the colors and the products and everything that she used. But we're going to try doing it again, but in a different color palette. I think we're going to try doing it in some purples today, and then we can kind of compare the two. So all of the products that we're going to use are actually in the annual catalog, which is awesome. Because sometimes I think, with all of the minis and online exclusives and things, that sometimes we forget about our annual catalog. And there really is some beautiful stuff in there, right? So we're going to use the Gallery Blooms bundle. So this is the stamp. So we're going to stamp this image here. And then these are all of the dies right here. nice frame dies as well. So that's really a really nice set. And then we are going to also use the Beautiful Motifs dies, and we're going to use these two here in particular, kind of vintagey looking. All right, and I'll show you how those work. And then we're also going to use the Damask Designs embossing folder. Okay, this is just a regular embossing folder. It's not a 3D. So we're going to use that as well. Okay, so I think maybe what we'll do to start is we'll do some sponging. So I have two pieces of Very Vanilla. One is going to be embossed here, and one half is going to be sponged. So we're going to start sponging this part. So I'm going to set this one aside. So I thought for the purples, maybe we would try the Fresh Freesia and the Highland Heather. So I'm going to try to just use my blends, and I'm just going to add some ink from the bottom up. So it'll be a little more concentrated at the bottom. And after we sponge it, we're going to emboss it. And just, you know, lightly, I want this to be a little darker at the bottom. Now, for Tami's design, she used the Flirty Flamingo and the Calypso Coral. So that's the ink colors she used for the florals. And then we used some blends, some of the Lemon Lolly for the centers and some Old Olive and Mossy Meadow for the leaves, okay? So this one, we're just gonna stick to the purples. Okay, so let me just close this so I don't get my fingers all messed up. Okay, this stamp mat, Marlene, is really, really old. I'm using it today because I have the light on in the room and I didn't want a glare from the light. So this is a super, super old stamp mat that I got. It was one of the black ones that they had way, way before the glass mat came in. So this is like, this goes back a long way, probably to when I even started as a demonstrator. Okay, so good question though. I don't know if anyone else has one like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to run this through the Damask embossing folder, okay? And then I'm going to run this piece with these dies here. Okay, so I'm going to just sort of position them on the paper, and then I'm going to run them through, and I'll show you what those look like. So I'll be right back. I don't know, anybody out there have one of those black mats? And it would kind of go back to when I started way back in 2006. Do you believe it? I've been a demo since 2006. Oh my gosh, time has flown. Hopefully I can get my stamping space into some sort of order now that, because they had to access a wall in this room too, to access some lines to the bathroom next to me. So that was fun, trying to move everything around. Let's see if I can get this die off. Okay. And I'm just going to run this embossing folder through. I could have brought it over there, I guess. That would have been a thought, right? Okay. So let's run this embossing folder through, and then I'll show you what these look like. Sorry for the wobbling. Okay, here we go. Let me show you how these turned out. Okay, so this is the embossed image here. You can see that. Very vintagey looking. Now these dies, what's interesting is that they don't cut all the way through. So you have some pieces that are cut through and some that are not. So that is very unique with this embossing folder, or sorry, these dies. Okay, so we will put these on our base in a bit. I'm just gonna set these aside for a second, and then we will come back to them when we put everything together, okay? So the next thing we're gonna do is try to do these flowers. Okay, so for that, I think I mentioned we're gonna use this image from the Gallery Blooms. So we're gonna do it twice. We're gonna stamp it twice, and we're gonna use some blends to color it, okay? So to do that, I've put my stamp on the block, and we're going to use some sponge daubers to do the to ink this up. Okay, so I've got Highland Heather. I thought we would go with a little bit of a darker border and then use the fresh freesia for our coloring. So part of it is trying to see where all these pieces are. So I'm going to put Highland Heather here on the bloom. Okay, so just all around. You might have to hold it up a little just to see where this flower actually is. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see on the photopolymer. Okay, and I apologize if there's noise because our drywaller is working sort of just next to me in the other room, so you might hear a little bit of drilling or noise going on, but that's okay. We're getting there. It's kind of one of those funny, David and my husband and I were talking yesterday, you know, you do this reno, you have the mess, and you know, you spend the money that you spend, but with this one, it's a little bit different. It's not like you can really show people what you've done because it's all hidden behind the walls, right? It's so, David said, well, I guess it's more of a repair project than a reno sort of thing, right? Because you can't see. It's not like getting a new bathroom or a new kitchen or anything. Okay, so now we are going to ink up our leaves, and I'm going to do that in Mossy Meadow. Okay, so you're just going to look for those stems and those leaves, and it can be a little bit tricky to see, but if you don't get it all, it's fine. This is just the technique you can try. I know with when we used to have our foam stamps, our red rubber, we used to be able to ink up our stamps with blends or markers, but photopolymer does not work the same, I find. It doesn't seem to take on the ink of a marker or a blend like the old red rubber used to. So I'm going to try this sponge dauber and see how that goes. Okay, let me just take a look at the light. I've probably missed some or gone over a little bit. So let me just add a little more of that purple. How many are purple people out there? How many love purple? It's really quite beautiful. Oh, I can see one here. I think I might have, nope. I think that's part of the flower. Okay. A little bit tricky, like I said, but just take your time and just try to cover it the best you can. This won't be perfect either, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to re-moisten it. And I'm just going to stamp. Okay, I'm just going to do one for today because you would do both of them exactly the same. Ah, that's not even too bad. Oh, we did it. Not too bad at all. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Okay, so on Tami's sample, she did her outline in Calypso Coral and then did a lot of the blending with the Flirty Flamingos. So we're going to start with the light Highland Heather, or sorry, light Fresh Freesia, pardon me. And I am not the best at blending, trust me. I think it's a real art, although Stampin' Up! Does sort of help with a lot of the lines. Sometimes if you just trace over some of those lines, that kind of helps in the coloring process, I find. This is where, you know, real artists excel. I think some of their watercoloring skills are just amazing, what they can do with a marker. So I'm just going to kind of go around the tops of some of these petals here. And then we might take some of the Highland Heather, the blend, and just fill in a little bit of dark as well. Let's see, part of my leaf is purple there, but we'll cover that up. And for any of you that are great at blending or watercoloring, all of that, I'm sure yours will turn out beautiful. Okay, so let's try the Highland Heather. Okay, so like I said, if you were going to do this, you would stamp 2 of these exactly the same, okay? And I'm going to leave some white because I know Tami did that on hers, and hers was amazing. I will see if I can post a photo of hers to compare, although I'm not sure I should do that, but I will. You can see a real artist next to someone who's not. But it is fun. Coloring is fun. And the blends are really amazing. I'm really glad that we have them. To be honest, I really never used my markers a ton. And I think having like a light and a dark of these is awesome because it just adds that little bit more depth to your projects, I think, by having that extra dark and light together. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of go over the lines here. Thank you for being patient. I know the coloring process takes a little while. But that's why I'm only going to do one. I'm not going, because I know you guys all know how to color, and probably a lot of you are, you know, really, really awesome at blending. So, okay, I think I'll just leave that. And then we're going to go into the Old Olive. Okay, so we have Mossy Meadow as the dark outline of the leaves. And then I'm just going to fill in a little bit of the actual leaf. I'm not going to color all of it in, just like the flowers. I'm going to leave a little bit of the white. So what does everybody have planned for today? Any big plans? It's the weekend. The weather, I think, is getting a bit nicer. Happy we don't live down east. If any friends from down east are watching, how are you guys doing with your digging out? It looked like there was a lot of snow. A lot of snow that fell down east in eastern Canada this last week. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think I will leave it at that. And I'm just going to cut this out with the die. So the die is also in the Gallery Blooms bundle. It is this large one. And this should fit pretty close around. So I will just cut this out and I'll be right back. And then we can put everything together. Okay. All right. Let me just see if I can get this lined up here. Let's see. Excuse the shaking. It should be the last time we need to die cut anything because I did one in advance just to save some time. Okay, so hey, that came out not too badly. See, there we are. There is our purple flower. Now the only other thing I wanted to do was add a little bit of lemon lolly to the centers, but I'm just going to add a little more of the purple in here. Oh, is this the... Ooh, didn't want Highland Heather. Oh, well, that's okay. Let's do a little bit more of the fresh freesia in here, just to cover some of that, and then I'll add some of the lemon lolly as a center. It's a little bit softer than the Daffodil Delight. I thought, oh, is that even going to show? But it did, I think. So I think we're good. All right, so there is our other one. And then I did have this one that I did ahead of time. So we have two. So this one turned out a little bit darker for some reason. I must have used more of the Highland Heather than the fresh freesia, but that's okay if they're different as well. Because this one looks a little bit more coral than the Flirty Flamingo too, so that's all right. Okay, are you guys all with me? I'm doing great. Oh, you're so kind. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's set those aside and we're going to assemble everything. So what Tami did is she put hers on a basic beige base. Okay, and these two are very vanilla, and the flowers were stamped on very vanilla, and then our greeting is also very vanilla. So only two different colors of cardstock, so that's great. So for this one, because it's purple, I thought we could put ours on the fresh freesia. We'll try this as our base. I did try it on the basic beige, but I don't know. It was okay. It works. But I thought, you know what? Let's try this. Okay, so fresh freesia it is. Now we're going to add this piece on the right, our embossed layer. And this is 5 1/4 by 2, and our base is our usual 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Okay, so this is here. And then this one, I think I will just put a little bit of glue on the back because some of these areas lift up and others do not. So let's just try to put some in the parts that are flat. Okay, now some may have been cut through a little, but that's okay. we are going to do something with some of these little pop-up pieces here to make them pop up even a little bit more. Okay, so this is going to go right next to this layer. Okay, just line up the centers. Just give it a press. Be done with the glue. All right, just going to wipe my fingers because I always... Oh, you saw pictures from partly... Oh, really? Even Niagara Falls was partly frozen. That's interesting. Wow. Wow, wow. Nice. Can imagine what that must look like. Okay, so we want to make some of these stay popped up a little bit, okay? So we're going to add, and this was Tammy's idea. I thought this was brilliant. We're going to add some glue dots underneath some of these pieces that pop up. Okay, so just random, wherever you want to put some. It doesn't have to be all of them, it can just be some. And it'll just give them like that little bit of a cushion. That little bit of a cushion to keep them popped up, so that even if it does go into an envelope, it might squish a little bit, but hopefully part of these areas will stay raised, because I think it just adds to the card for sure. Okay, so let's pop up some more of these down here. I wasn't sure I was going to like this die at first, because I'm always just so used to them, you know, cutting all the way through. Oh, hi, Bonnie. Bonnie, you are in New York. How is your weather? Did you get all the snow that our Eastern Canadian friends got? Oh my gosh. We get our share of snow here in Alberta, and we have gotten quite a bit this year, I think. But like to have as much at one time as our friends down east, wow, that was a lot. Okay, I'm almost done. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for sticking with me with this part. I just think it adds a lot to the card by doing this. And I never would have thought to do this myself. So Tami Hewlett, you are a wizard. And I hope you'll give this a try, because, yeah, like I say, she does amazing, amazing work. She is an actual artist, is what I would say. If you've ever, she has a website. I'm trying to think of what her name is, but I will try to post that later. Something swimming. Maybe that's because she lives in California. I don't know. You have a ton of snow. Oh, and it's cold. Oh my goodness. We actually have some sort of spring-like temperatures happening here, if you can believe it. We did have a bit of a cold snap, but we had a few days with we're in Celsius, so a few plus temperatures. So that was a welcome change from our usual winter. Okay, so see how those pop up there? That is awesome. So again, those are the dies from the Beautiful Motifs bundle, which is in the large catalog. So really nice for this type of vintagey card, I think. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our blooms. So should we put dark? I think we'll put dark behind and the light in the front. Now what you could do also is add a little bit of Wink of Stella. That would be nice. I just don't have mine handy here. Oh, thank you, Bonnie. It's one of Tami Hewlett's designs that I saw posted this week, so I'm trying to recreate it, but in a different color. And I'll show you the comparison again at the end. Mine is not nearly as beautiful as hers was, but we try, right? We try. And yeah, I really like it too. I think it was very beautiful. When I saw it, it was like, oh my gosh, I have to try that. So I kind of had to see what was used and what she did. And yeah, sometimes you just find those little gems, right? We get lake effect snow. Oh yes, that would make it cold and damp from the lakes. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. That is not fun, but it's going to be February, so let's hope things are going to look up shortly. Okay, so I'm going to put this one down kind of straight. All right, I popped that up with some dimensionals, and I'm going to pop this one with some dimensionals too. And then we'll try to stamp our greeting here and get that on. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see this card in a lot of different colors, I think. That would be interesting. I think I seem to like it more in the softer pastels. So like the ones that Tami did, the pinks and the purples are good too. I thought I would try it. What else do we have in our subtle family that might be lovely? It's more the pinks and the purples, isn't it? Yeah, I have to experiment with some different combinations to see. Sometimes when you start to play around, you get surprised at what goes together, for sure. Okay, so let's put this one a bit of an angle. We'll just put it here so we can still see some of these blooms underneath. You won't see all of them, but you will see quite a few. Okay, so now we are going to stamp our greeting. So for that, I had a retired set, which some of you may have, the bundle, the Unbounded Love. This has some really, like, just so many greetings. Some you can put on the outside of your card and the corresponding message on the inside. I'm just going to do happy birthday because I really like this font and this happy birthday stamp. And then I cut out this label with the corresponding Unbounded Love dies. So this is a great set of dies too. You have so many different shapes that would cut out your greetings. So this is a nice one to have on hand. But unfortunately it is retired, but some of you might have that in your stash. Lemon Lolly, yes, that's another really good color. That would be lovely. All right, I think I will stamp in, let's do Fresh Freesia, okay? And we're gonna stamp Happy Birthday. And I'm gonna stamp this at an angle too. You could do it straight, but this will be a little bit different. Okay, happy birthday. I think you'll have to give this card to someone really special, right? All right, so I want to put this here, but now because this flower is already raised, I'm going to put dimensionals on this right side so it's not super uneven. So let me just see, put it on the right, so that's over here. Oh, got all these half-started sheets of dimensionals going on here. So, all right, let's just try two. Unbounded Love is a great one, isn't it? So sad when it retired because I use those greetings a lot and the dies too. All right, so let's put this here, and then I'm just going to stick a glue dot underneath the other side just to tack that down. And I don't want it raised even higher, so I'm just going to put maybe one just to tack it onto one of the flowers. Oh, it's getting there. It's getting there. So now we're going to add some linen thread. Oh my gosh, don't you love it when this happens? It starts to unroll from inside on one end. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I like to do a double bow from linen thread. So I'm going to go about 16 inches. I just find, I don't know, single bows are good too. But with the linen thread, I just find it looks a little bit lost when it's only a single strand. So I'm going to double it and see if I can do a bow. Oh my gosh, here we go. I should have done this advance. Marlene, I know you can relate, right? Oh my goodness. It will be fine. Okay. Is anybody excited about the Olympics? I'm really excited. I love watching the Olympics. Yeah, it's going to be great. Hope everything goes well, that everybody stays safe. Okay, that's a little bit off, but that's okay. I would have trimmed the tails anyway. So let's put this on with some glue dots, and then we will add a couple of embellishments and we will be done. So we'll put that there. Just trim off this long tail a little bit. I think that's a teeny bit shorter. There we go. All right, and then for embellishments, we are going to use the antique pearls. Okay, so these are also in the large catalog, which is great because, like I mentioned, sometimes we forget all the goodies that are in the large catalog, right? Like we get so caught up in the minis and the online exclusives because they're so beautiful that we sometimes forget about our regular catalog. Yes, can't wait to watch. Maybe, Bonnie, maybe we're going to have a big Canada-US hockey game. Oh, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. And that has happened. I know it has. Okay, we are done, my friends. What do you think of that? Oh, I love it. And here again is Tami Hewlett's idea that I tried to recreate. Of course, like I said, it's not as beautiful as hers, but I think it turned out pretty nice too. So her color palette was the basic beige for the cardstock base, and then very vanilla. So very vanilla for the layers, for the flowers and the greeting. And this is crumb cake for the greeting. She used those antique pearls as well. And for the blending, she used Calypso Coral and Flirty Flamingo, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive. So she outlined, I think one she outlined in Flirty Flamingo, the stamp, and then the second one in Calypso Coral. So mine is a little bit different, but there it is. Yes. Okay, so I don't know. What's your preference, purple or coral? I don't know. I just love this little vintage look there, though, too. All right, let me try to turn my camera around. Hello, there we are. Hello, I'm back. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad that there wasn't a lot of noise here today. I was a little bit worried about that, and that's why I didn't do a live last week, because it was kind of noisy in here with the construction happening. But I'm so glad we could connect today. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. Enjoy the last weekend of January, and February is going to be a really short month, right? Typically is, and then we're into March. Oh, that will be spring. It'll be so wonderful, right? So thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you again next week. Okay, bye everybody. Have a great weekend.